and welcome to Add More Zest, and my name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and this is the last Heaven and Earth design update until July, which is probably good. Not maybe that it's all the way until July, but it is probably good in the fact that it's not for a little bit, because I've not worked on this one much this week and won't be able to next week either. So hubby is currently off work. He's got a couple of weeks off, and we're doing a bedroom switch between our two youngest. So Lewis had the box room, always had the box room, and Catherine had the next small room. It would fit a small double in it. It's more long than anything, but yeah, it would fit a small double. But then you didn't really have space for a full-on wardrobe and all the rest of it. And she's at uni, so she's not in that room for a lot of the time. So I was mainly using it to store Advent stock. I still will be using her room, but in a different way. So she had the idea of switching with her brother. So he now has more space, which works considering he is the one that is here all the time. And she's going to move into the box room. But the definition, well, partly the reason it's classed as a box room is it does have a box in the corner where the stairs underneath. So that alcove is going to be used to hold the shop stock, and she has enough room for a single bed and a wardrobe and a bookcase, which is all that she wants. So we have been working very hard this week to because she's due home from uni soon for the summer until year 2. So we've been working rather hard so far this week. I am filming this on Thursday morning, so you're getting as up to date as you can get. And yeah, we have stripped out the stuff out of her room, including the shop stock. It is currently tucked around Megan's bed, much to her delight. And we have stripped the room, soon to be Lewis's room. It is now Lewis's room. We have decorated that room, painted it all, painted a design on the wall that he wanted, which turned out really, really good. I was very impressed with how it turned out. We've done all that, and we moved Lewis into there yesterday. So today's plan, hubby has started a little bit of it, but today's plan is to strip out the old bed and stuff from Lewis's room. He had an old divan. It was the only way we could get a bed fitted in. We've got Catherine a new bed frame. It took us a while to find a bed that did not have a headboard, because there was not enough space for a headboard on a single bed to tuck it in the place that gives you the most space for the rest of her stuff, bookcase, wardrobe, etc. So yeah, the plan today is to get rid of Lewis's old bed. He has wallpaper on half of the wall in his room, so we need to strip all the wallpaper, clean it all down, and that's today's plan. And tomorrow the plan is to paint that room, which will then be ready for Catherine. We'll then build her bed and stuff. We've got them both exactly the same bed frame. It actually means that on the thin Catherine's old room, we've never had a bed in that place before, which surprises me. It basically means that the bed can go across the thin part of the room, and then he's got so much space now in the rest of the room. It's unreal how much space he's got. It's the most space I've ever seen in that room, unless it's empty for decorating. So it's worked out really well for him. So yeah, that is our plan for today. But in turn, that means that I have not been doing my heaven and earth design in the morning, in effect, like I should. I have been trying to free myself up to assist. I don't want to do those two. To assist with the decorating, etc., the moving about, and all that comes with that. So I have been packing orders, dealing with emails, checking in throughout the day, but basically just switching to painting, decorating, and all the rest of it, which is not my normal plan. I feel like I'm a little bit behind on stuff. But I've got enough for, I've got enough done to do the day-to-day. And Megan is off from next week. It is her half term. So she's actually having Luna while me and Will go away. So we're going away for 4 days next week. She's having the dog and running the shop, making sure orders and things get out. And then when I get back the second week, it is both me and Megan. So we're hoping to finalise all the Advent pricing, get all the packaging for it all arranged and sorted, so that we can move forward with that and look to see if we can do the likes of pre-orders and things for that, so that people can rest easy and take a breath if they want to, or they can of course wait until it's launched. But we're going to hash all that out in her second week off, hopefully. So yeah, busy couple of weeks, but with a respite. I say we are going away for 4 days, so we're doing all the work before we go away, which is definitely the best way to do it. Megan's actually away this weekend. It's another bank holiday weekend for us Brits. We have had an exceptional amount of bank holidays this May because the coronation was added in. So yeah, Megan's away this bank holiday weekend with her friend. She comes back on Monday and we go away on Monday. So yeah, it's all go. But it's good to get it done. I've been looking at storage systems. I'm looking originally for some form of racking. Like you can have in a garage to be able to store boxes with Advent stock and things like that in this alcove in Catherine's room that she doesn't need. It's up on a ledge as well, so it goes up, and then of course the up part is where the stairs are underneath. So yeah, I've been looking at racking and stuff for that, but all the racking is like 5 centimetres too wide for that alcove space, and it needs to fit. So it looks like we might be doing 2 wardrobe carcasses. We've found some that are not too high, and yeah, putting one in front of the other and leaving the back off one of them, because it's quite a deep space. It's actually as deep as it is wide. And yeah, so I've been looking at all that as well. So my brain is like, fuzz. It's fuzz. But it's exciting times. Exciting times. So yeah, because I'm not getting much heaven and earth design done, back onto the point, because I'm not getting much of my heaven and earth design done, because I am dedicating a week to decorating the house. Okay, you're around diamonds, you're not allowed on here. Yeah, I just haven't done as much. I did quite a bit last week, which is why there is an update. I have moved forward, but I haven't done my usual morning batch of Heaven and Earth design this week, and I won't be taking it away with me, so I won't be doing it while I'm away either. So we may have a bit more of July than I initially thought, but I'm still on track for finishing this for 2023, which is my main goal. The sooner the better, but for 2023 is my main aim, and I keep reminding myself of that it is okay to take that bit of time off from doing the extras, you know, to be able to get this stuff done in the house. And it's very beneficial that hubby's off as well, because we can tag team. So he does stuff while I'm packing orders and getting things ready for the day, and doing any stock items that I may need to do, doing the boring things like accounts. But then I can sort of stop and start and go and do some decorating, and then come back and check if there's any last minute orders before the postie comes to collect the post. But yeah, hope everybody else is having a productive week or two. The weather in the UK at the moment is currently glorious. He has picked the best 2 weeks to be off, though we are in the house doing things rather than out in the garden. We've done a couple of bits in the garden, but we're not getting to just sit out there and enjoy it quite as much. But I'm sure that time will come. But yeah, we've managed to pick a glorious couple of weeks for it, so at least we're not fighting with clearing stuff out, taking stuff the tip, and dealing with all of that in the rain, which is just not pretty. And the paint's drying really quick, which means we're able to quite often, by the time we've done one coat around the room, it's dry, so we can do a second coat, which has enabled us to actually get most of the painting done in one day. Hence, one room was decorated completely. What did we do Monday? Maybe we did start the decorating on Monday. I think we painted like all the walls in the room on Monday. However, I said my son had a design on one of his walls, different shades of purple in rectangular blocks. So we of course had to let that dry in between each one for that. So we did that the following day. And then yeah, moved him all in yesterday. Right, why can I... Oh, this is what's just confused me, is I've only gone down a couple to find this. Have I only gone down a couple? Oh no, I have gone down a few. Did I actually tap on all of them? I'm guessing I did, to find my next one. But I'm also keeping my zeros in my tub, so sometimes I actually need to go further in my tub than I think I do, because the zeros are still sat there. Just to confuse me. Just to confuse me a little bit more, we'll just throw a load of zeros in there that I have to ignore. But I think the mammoth de-kitting will be worth it, especially when I sort out my spares at the same time. So I'm going to do a spares revamp and a Heaven and Earth de-kit all at the same time, and wheedle some of my spares out of my spare box. What I may do is I may also tie it in with pulling the diamonds for my Heaven and Earth design canvas. I have just the blank canvas, and I need the diamonds for that. So I may also check my diamonds for that while I'm at it. I don't know if I'll do the full pulling of the diamonds, but I might just, before I put anything into my giveaway to somewhere else box, I may just check whether there's any that I actually need to keep for myself for my next one, because I need to finish my mini before I do that one. So yeah, it's all go, getting things organised, which I absolutely love. There's nothing like a reorganise to settle my brain and make things feel better. Decorating is also a great way to give a room a really good spring clean. Because pretty much everything is out of the room. We might be moving around a couple of pieces of furniture, some wardrobes, things like that. But they all come away from the wall. And yeah, it's just a great way to give a room a good blitz, which always feels good. It's always entertaining. And maybe it will go on to the rest of the house. Though the rest of the house is, I feel like it's not as bad. Maybe it's just because kids don't move furniture for dust bunnies quite as much. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? Then again, I could just go and move furniture in our room and realise that maybe I'm not that good at dust bunnies either. Time will tell. We have 2 bedrooms to finish first. And I've still not finished touching up the paint in the kitchen from the tiling. And I've still not finished touching up the paint in the hallway. So maybe it will spur those on as well once they're done, to get the others finished. But we are making sure that we finish everything in those rooms, because of course then they get taken over by children. Anyway, I have waffled for probably far too long on the story of life at the moment. And why is this looking wrong? I'm not... Oh, those 2. There's a gap there. Oh, I've already put it in. There we go. That's what was confusing me. I'm like, the symbols don't look right, and it's because I've already put the diamond in. See, that'll teach me. So yeah, Gray Legrand, she says she thinks that once this painting is finished and mounted, maybe the drills won't pop off anymore. Yeah, I don't think they'll be anywhere near as likely to pop off once it is mounted. I think most of the time now, the reason any of the diamonds pop off is because I'm rolling it up. So I do roll it with the diamonds out, but of course it's still curling the canvas all the time. So yeah, I think it's definitely the fact that I'm moving it about that causes it to move more than anything. I've not particularly had any problems with any other paintings that I've put up, even without without glass and not sealed, because there are some that I haven't sealed when I've put up on mount board and put up on my wall. I've not had a problem with those at all. So I think it purely is the fact that I'm just moving it about so much. It just gets picked up, moved and everything. Oh, hang on, that has picked up that one. Oh, I need to go back to highlight. That's why it's not working. Clear that one. I just spotted it out the corner of my eye. I don't need to be marking stitches that I've not yet put a diamond on. Becca, she says she's been a lurker for about 6 months and she's been diamond painting for about 10 months. She says she loves the channel and all of the videos that I post. Thank you ever so much, Becca. She said she would love to try a cross-stitch conversion one day. She said, thanks for all the great content. It is definitely something fun and different to do. When you fancy a little bit of a different challenge, it is good. There are a lot smaller ones though to try. So I recommend going for a smaller one. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this image. I love everything about this image. I do love the fact it was a big challenge. I just also think a mini is actually quite a big challenge. And maybe if I'd have done a mini first, I would have known what I was getting into a little bit easier for doing this one. I probably still would have done it because I do love the image. I just needed a plan from the off to get sections done all the time. Would have been a lot better for me. Right, get these little ones in, trying to make sure that I pick up the lighter colours. This one's got 2 shades, but the dark shade is really dark. It's too dark, really. I've not quite fished them all out though. I do fish out a few every now and then. When I'm working it on my own, I do decide to just get rid of a few of the darker ones. And they're slowly but surely getting in the way less. Grey Legrand, she said, hi Rebecca. She said she was looking at the Heaven and Earth Design website. There's the start of it. She said, and she so loves the Mini Pink Garden Kitty by Michelle Sayeta. Hopefully I've said that right, probably not. She said it's 88 colours and can be purchased as a diamond painting canvas or as a cross stitch pattern. She said she's not sure if she'd be brave enough to cross stitch, and she has hardly any square spares in her diamond painting stash. She said she's not sure if it would be most cost effective to have 88 colours times 2 skeins each. She has a greater chance of finishing a large diamond painting versus a cross stitch on 25 counts. And she says she's not even a cat person. Yeah, getting the Heaven and Earth design, getting enough diamonds for spares can be a challenge for sure. I've been blessed in the fact that I have this channel and people were happy to send me spares. My initial plan was, right at the beginning of my Heaven and Earth design journey, my initial plan was to just skip the bits I didn't have and fill them in later, which I did for a bit, but it actually got far too much. And filling them in when I did get them, oh, it was horrific. Yeah, it was like doing maths that you don't really need to do. It was just too complicated, it was really complicated, and yeah, there was no system to it. I didn't enjoy it at all. I enjoyed it being finished and the gaps filled, but I didn't enjoy filling them. Sometimes the best way to approach a Heaven and Earth design in relation to your spares is to look and try and get spares for maybe the lower numbers primarily. So the ones that you don't need many diamonds for. You only need 5 or 10 or some of them even 100. Try and get ones that are low numbers that you can, either from, others that are happy to share their spares or from your own spare stash. But when you have a number that you need a few thousand of, then just buy those. So you will still end up spending money on the project, but a lot less than you may have needed to by getting all the colours, even the ones that you might only need 20 of. You know, even just buying one of the 200 packets, it adds up once you have a few of them that you buy. It just tots up to more and more. So that's probably one of the best ways to do it, is see how many you can get from your spares that's reasonable, and then look at the big numbers and look at buying those, and maybe asking if people have 50 of this colour or 100 of this other colour, and that'll help keep your costs down and make it a lot more practical to do. Oh, got one that's not showing up. This thing with YouTube and not showing me the comments is really annoying. So Angel, she says, really big comment incoming. Okay, let me get this diamond placed down and see if I can get a colour that I need a few more of. I need a few more of those. Try and make this a little bit easier to read and discuss. She said she would absolutely love a huge de-kitting and organisation video, she said, with this one. She says, any chance it would be possible to do some advent calendars as ones that include just the zesty trays and ones that include the AMZ trays, and then maybe one that includes both, for the people that prefer the big or small tray and for the people that aren't phased on the size of the tray. We haven't looked at doing an advent calendar just on trays at the moment. It would be a very high cost advent, and that we're trying to ensure that you get value for money as well as useful items. We don't want you to be left with a load of items that you just don't touch. So we focus very much on it being useful, things that I use, things that, you know, are maybe quite new, and yeah, will, you know, maybe give you another option for something that you may not have necessarily gone looking for or bought. But we don't tend to do one just on trays. At the moment, it's enough. We've already got a printer constantly on the go, printing for the advent calendar. It's been on the go since January. And it's been printing for the advent calendar since pretty much January, non-stop, just to get the stock levels up. So to try and get those sort of stock levels for an advent calendar that was all trays, and the cost that would be, we're not sure. It's definitely not practical for this year. If there is enough people that want a tray advent, we could potentially look at doing one for in the future, maybe just a 12-day one. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, that one, because we know the trays are loved, but they're not a cheaper item, if that makes sense. Angel, she also says, oh, okay, I'll just tip out far too many diamonds. She says she needs to hurry up and do more square diamond paintings, and buy more of them, she says, if she really wants to do a heaven and earth design. Do the paint gem minis, you get loads left over from those, or at least I feel you do anyway. Maybe not enough for a huge heaven and earth design, but you definitely get your smaller amounts ticked off, or a few of them. She said she would prefer to do this design on a blank canvas than to do it with a tablet or something like that. Due to the amount of colours, she says, I'm not sure, but she's not sure how the symbols would look on the printed canvas. There is a couple of symbols that are very, very similar in this. They are different, but they are similar, and it can take a little bit to figure out which one's which. They are different colours, so they have done very well in, you know, not making sure that they're both very similar colours and similar symbols. But it can make it hard when you're working on the chart. The difference is, of course, with this, because it's more, you know, electronic data, it can figure out what the differences are a lot easier. Just checking I didn't miss any of those. I was too busy looking at this because I've got a couple that have been finished. I'm confusing myself. She says also, she says she does like knowing how many diamonds are left of each colour while doing the design. She says it's an amazing idea to add ABs if you can, and maybe even rhinestones if things work out with the other colours. That very much depends on the image itself, but I think it would be fun to do some added sort of sparkle to a heaven and earth design. Just gives it your little stamp. She says, thank you so much for all that you do, Rebecca. She said it's extremely appreciated. Oh, thank you. It is appreciated, each and every one of you that's here, that's supported this, whether it be diamonds or just watching. It's definitely spurred me on to finish it. I actually saw in the group, I think it was this morning, I've not commented, it was while I was waking up. I need to go back and comment. I need to actually go back and comment. But I'm murder for that. I will check Facebook and I will see posts on the group on Facebook when I'm waking up. And a lot of the time that is not the best time for me to comment, react and like. And then I forget later on in the day. So I'm absolutely awful with that. But somebody has put up, they have finished Mini Beautiful Light as a heaven and earth design. And it looks amazing. I'll be happy to actually work on that one as well. I feel like once this one is done, that one will be a lot quicker to do a section a day and will come together a lot quicker. I'll get the satisfaction quite quickly of that one being finished. And yeah, I'm excited to do that as much as I'm excited to be doing this one. Okay, let's get this one. So, Cat Lady, she says, go with whatever your time allows in relation to dekitting. She says, we'll watch it, whatever. And your support is appreciated. Thank you. I know many of you are always like, just do what works for you, because we'll just watch whatever videos you put up. And I do appreciate that. If things change, I know you guys will still watch, even if my plan was to do something else. But it is nice to know that, you know, a big dekitting is something that people would actually be interested in watching, even if it's over a few sections. They can watch me get my organising head on, which is what I'll be doing with this unit above the bedroom when it's got painted. Hopefully before my daughter's bed gets built, so I can get there a little bit easier. I'm hoping to get it all organised and nice. It's just how much stuff it's going to fit in. I always see spaces as bigger in my head. And then when I go to try and put stuff in, it's like, yeah, you're not going to fit. But Advent is nearly upon us. We'll be packing them into boxes soon and getting them all ready. And then the storage space will potentially be for next year's if we decide to do it again. I say an if. It all depends on how it goes. She says she's actually worked on a square of her diamond painting this evening. as she needs to sort out some more books for her Kindle. She's not enjoying her knitting or crochet much at the moment. They travel to Wales on Sunday for the funeral. She has recently lost her mum, which is why focusing on different hobbies and projects and all the rest of it, you're just not in the mood sometimes for stuff like that. And as much as you love something, you're just not in the mood. It's a very flat time. It's a very flat time that you never quite know where to put yourself and what to do. And you've just sort of got to go with the flow. You've got to go with how you feel in that moment. She hopes to work a bit more on her diamond painting when she does return. This was actually posted this was posted about 6 days ago. So I do hope it went as well as can be expected, and it was a good send-off, as they say. And yeah, things start to get a little bit easier for you. She said concentration has been her problem, not helped by lack of sleep. So she hopes it all improves soon. Yeah, I hope things start getting, a little bit better for you. It's still different. It's just learning a different way of life, isn't it? A different way of living. And, moving on despite what's happened. So yeah, I hope things are getting easier for you, even if it is just bit by bit. Bit by bit is something. Being able to sleep would be a nice one. That's a nice one to be able to do first, because it makes it a lot easier to be able to cope with the rest of the day and everything else that it encompasses. Got another one that I need to open YouTube for. Okay, let me find my next decent amount of colour, because I need to change cases anyway. No, I've got a couple for this one. Grab my next case, try and get today's orders out the way. I've put today's orders in a mailing sack already, and it's right in front of the cases for my Heaven and Earth design. But it's all good. Right, we're going to end up with these couple of colours now that are just 2 of this and 2 of that and 3 of this, and just little bits that aren't very good for me to read all the comments out loud. Not long ones anyway. Okay, are we nearly done? No, not yet. All right, let's see if we can start reading. So Jaina, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she hopes that I'm doing well. She said she's not sure if it's the weather or jet lag, but she says she has been stressed the past few weeks. Oh no. Maybe it's a combination of both. Blame both. Why not? She says she's been working on a shop, waiting to hear back from her job, and a family member is potentially on their last legs. There we go. That will be having a big impact as well. The unknown is always the worst. She said it is hard for her to settle down. She said thankfully your videos have been a good stabilizer for her. She said she likes to listen to preparations and kitting up while she washes dishes. Anything that gets you through those dishes, I'm there for you. Dishes are the worst. I mean, we're lucky we have a dishwasher now, so there's never many dishes to do. It's definitely a lot easier when there's not as many. But we've had many, many years without a dishwasher. And yeah, it's a game changer. Everybody says it's a game changer, but until you actually have one, you don't quite realise. I've just been so used to not having one. I should have found the space to fit one in sooner. But yeah, I used to watch YouTube and stuff while doing the dishes, especially if they'd been ignored for a bit. It's the only motivation I could do. She says she also sends a bunch of good vibes, she says, to those who are in a tough spot. I'll send some to yourself as well. She said she believes in all of us. Ah, thank you. She says, thanks so much and take care. Well, you take care too, Jana. Sounds like it's a bit of a unknown time frame at the moment for you, which is probably what's causing you the stress and the anxiety and all the rest of it, because the unknown can be worse than the known. Even if the known is bad, it's still worse than the known, because yeah, you just go between hope and thinking the best, thinking the worst, and you just flip between the two of them, and it just sends your brain into a spin. So we'll definitely be thinking of you as well, and hope things calm down for you soon. Stephanie, she says, thanks for the info, Rebecca. She says she can't wait for her order to come in and then to hear what you have cooking for Advent. We have all sorts cooking for Advent. I think that's what's making me feel guilty about doing the decorating, even though I know I have plenty of time and I know I have time to do everything that I need to do. There's only a couple of bits of Advent that actually need, like, you know, some preparation by me. And, you know, I've got plenty of time, and I'll have Megan in the summer holidays, and I can even do the preparation as we're packing them. Because I've not had time to do some Advent for so long, with the restocks of Advent and Zesty Wolf, we got a lot in. We got a lot of them in. More than I think our first order was. So more than we ordered for launch, because it went that crazy. And then, of course, we did the restock, but more than we initially got in. And they've lasted, of course, a lot longer, which is what we wanted. But it's been very busy with the orders for those in between a couple of launches, because the Advents came in the middle. And then, of course, we've got this next launch, and I've been doing decorating. I kind of feel as though I've neglected Advent, even though I've not. And actually, my forward preparation in Advent and starting it in January and preparing stuff, you know, way back when, is actually doing what it was meant to do. And it is making it that I'm not doing everything last minute and not having the time. Yeah, it's throwing me for a little bit of a loop. I feel like I should be panicking more to get everything done. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yes, we have quite a few different exciting bits. Hopefully once week after next. So when me and hubby are back from our little mini breakaway, and Megan is off but hubby is back at work, we're hoping to be able to finalise everything so that we can start letting you guys know about things, and also try and make things as easy for you guys as well to be able to budget those that need to, things like that. We're going to look at what steps that we can take to make things work for everyone. And also know how much work we have involved as well. So there's no point in packing every single Advent if we're not going to sell them all. But then again, we do need to pull our finger out and sell and pack every single Advent if they are all going to sell. But yeah, it's fun times. I love it. I love the chaos. I'm itching to tell everybody though. Itching. Stephanie also says she's just started her own cross-stitch conversion. We have another one. Welcome to the fold. She has started Stained Glass Sampler by Carolyn Mannings. It's about an 18-inch by 18-inch. She got the blank canvas from Heaven and Earth Design, just spotted that one, and the diamonds from Diamond Drills USA. I've just noticed I've got one on here as well. So that one didn't actually fit into the gap. Oh my goodness me. Bear with me, Stephanie. I will be back to hear about your project. I just seem to be struggling with this single colour at the moment. Maybe it's because I'm thinking about the fact of getting that bed out of my son's room. It was entertaining to get it in there. It's going to be even more fun to get it out. So yeah, it's Stained Glass Sampler by Carol Mannings. It's 18 by 18. She got the canvas from Heaven and Earth Designs, and she got the drills from Diamond Drills USA. She said it's 26 colours. There's lots of 310 and 535. Ooh, lots of dark colours. I need to go looking some of these paintings up, though it could be dangerous. I do not need another Heaven and Earth Design project until I have finished the 3 that I have. The 3 that I have, yes. This one, a blank canvas, and my mini. So I really do not need another project, especially when I have so many large paintings as well that need working on in general. Still got a little bit of this blossom going on these trees, you know. I can't wait until these pinks start being classed as done. Once some of these have started being classed as done, then I reckon I will be a lot closer to the blossom being finished. Because as pretty as it looks, I'm over the blossom. Well and truly over the blossom. TJ, she says, please keep in mind that you still have your Heaven and Earth Design canvas to kit up before getting rid of all your spares. Thank you, TJ. Yes, I do. I think when I do the de-kit of this one and the organising of my spares, maybe once I've finished it, because actually doing too many things at once can cause more problems than it solves. So I think I will de-kit this and sort out my spares as I go along, because that'll just be a nice way to sort of, it'll break up the de-kitting of this while also getting my spares nice and tidy with the big influx of diamonds that are actually going to hit it. And then I will go through my extras once I've finished, along with my list of colours I need for my canvas, and pull those out. Whether I actually just pull them out or whether I start my collection for those, I'm not quite sure yet. I've just spotted there's one down here I missed. 938. Let me just do it before it winds me up. This bottom corner, it's always these little corners. So if I go search, click on that one, click on highlight, click on done, and then go back to that one. There we go. Okay, back on track. So yeah, whether I then kit it all up at the same time, I'm not quite sure yet. But it's definitely something I do want to factor in before I start giving them all away. Because once this is done, my mini won't take anywhere near as long, I don't think. It's also, because it takes less time, I'm more likely to be able to fit it in most, if not every morning. Because it takes me less time. So I don't, when I'm busy, I don't have to, you know, say, oh, I've not got time for that today. Because I have still actually been doing a Paint Gem Mini a day. That's another thing I added to my list. Though they sort of work a little bit different. I don't always do those. Sometimes I don't do them till the evening. Sometimes I do them, I tend to do them more the middle of the day. I've put it on my little work list. I have a little list of daily tasks that are pretty much every single day. Sometimes they don't need doing, which is great. I can cross it off the list before I've even got started. But I have put Paint Gem Mini on as needing to be done each day alongside my Heaven and Earth design. So sometimes I do them when I grab a spot of something to eat and a drink late in the afternoon. Sometimes so I'll start it then. Sometimes I won't finish it then. So sometimes I might start it while I'm doing something that I can do it at the same time, but then I'll stop and I'll go and do, you know, whatever I need to do. Excuse me. As my daily jobs, but then I'll come back to it and finish it off maybe before I sit down for the evening. Sometimes I only do it when I sit down for the evening. And sometimes, like at the moment when we've been decorating, if like hubby did a tip run yesterday, and it wasn't worth me starting to do a shop item because he'd be back and we'd be doing other stuff, but it was enough time to do pretty much a whole Paint Gem Mini. I at least did a big chunk of it, so I've actually been keeping up with those. I need to get some more kitted up soon, ready for June videos, because I'm going to take some away with us as well. I'm going to take a mini set in the mandala case because I've already managed to knock the case. The other cases that I use, for some reason, they are popping open more than any of my others ever have. They keep popping, and it actually just got knocked by moving it off a shelf, and a load of diamonds all got mixed up, so I am not even contemplating taking them with me. They now sit on the table and don't move. But I am going to take the actual Paint Gem case that Paint Gem were kind enough to send me. Yes, there are also some new ones, some new Paint Gem Minis that have appeared on their site. They are sending me some. They did actually tell me about it a week or so ago, and I've been itching, I've been waiting for them to come up, and I do keep checking whether they've come up, but yet again one of you guys was quicker to spot it, and I knew it was coming, and one of you guys still spotted it even quicker. So eagle eyes for the win. But yeah, I will be unboxing those when they arrive, and that's what's stopping me from prepping and de-kitting and kitting up the latest, one of the ones that I've finished, and prepping the videos for July, is because I want these to arrive, because of course they will have arrived by July, so at least it'll be fresher content with fresher kits in it. But anyway, right, last few bits, we're getting there. Beverly said she's joining the June Waffle. Woohoo! Yes, nearly June Waffle time. I can't wait to have my little trays set up on the back. She says she's participated in the Advent painting but never in the Waffle before. She says, are there any Heaven and Earth design paintings that use round drills? No. Not, well, yes and no. There is nothing stopping you doing it in round. If you wanted to do a round one, you would have to do the blank canvas. You couldn't get it pre-printed with round. They only do the pre-printed for square. And round diamonds are bigger. So you'd have to get a blank canvas and work off the chart. The reason they don't, so the same reason mystery paintings don't tend to be in round, they tend to only be done in square, is because the canvas behind it is white, and if you put a white diamond on it, a black diamond, for example, you're still going to have those little tiny corners that are white. And from a distance, you can actually get away with it more than you think, but it can be seen. So that's why mysteries and Heaven and Earth designs tend to be done in square, sorry. But I do know somebody, I think Melissa's planning on doing one in round. So maybe she'll post some pictures in the group when she starts, and you can see how much white you can see and see whether it's something you fancy doing. Now they actually do they do the canvases printed in colour as well as printed in square. Sorry, in black and white. See, look, it's because I'm talking while I'm trying to do this at the same time. They actually give the option of doing the canvases in colour as well as black and white. So maybe round is something that they will venture into. But because they are limited on what they actually stock in diamond paintings, because the Heaven and Earth Design are, of course, primarily a cross-stitch pattern company, maybe it's just something that the producer of their canvases doesn't have the scope for or doesn't want to venture into, because there are so many different things that you can venture into. But at the same point, it also becomes, when does it actually make production and stuff more complicated than it needs to be by offering too many options? It's a very fine line in business, in, you know, how much to offer and the space that things take and all the rest of it. It's constantly something we're juggling. There's many things we'd love to stock. There's many things that actually space we think would restrict it more. Because while it would be items that would sell, it might not be items that would sell often enough to be worth the space they take. It would just be, you know, more options for our customers, which indeed we do want. But for example, if we started stocking a load of storage cases, that takes up a lot of space. It's a lot more to post. And there are so many out there already that, you know, what could we do that would be different to somewhere else? And that's the harder part, is being different to someone else. So yeah, it's not something that's working for, or would work for us at the moment. And it may be that actually the logistics to do a round canvas and a square might be too much for them. So for example, they may have one machine that prints it. They may need to do alterations to that machine between printing round and square. So then you've got the whole, you know, extra maintenance stuff to do to switch it from round to square. I'd say this is just an example, you know, compared to them not selling enough in round to actually benefit the cost of getting a second machine to do the rounds. It's logistics. And that's probably much more of an answer than you ever wanted or needed. Okay, let me see if I can get to another question before I run out of a section to do. Kim says she's doing the DIY DP May event. So their aim is to do 600 drills per day. That's my Heaven and Earth design size. That's the size I do each time, which is about an hour. Well, it is on this pattern. It'd probably be quicker on another one. She says she's now on 50.53% on day 18. She's run out of every colour she has touched. However, she's got drills before she ordered what she needed. Well, hopefully you'll get some drills arriving. That is the thing. When you start doing a lot of it, I found that when I did a month worth of doing my Heaven and Earth design last August, that I did start running out of all the diamonds. Okay, that one goes there. This one got pulled out. I actually got one that got pulled out by my glue dot. My glue dot's exploding out my pen. I really need to tidy that up. But yeah, so glad that you have managed to get a chunk done. I'm now on 83.28%. If we have a look on here, we have got up to there, so I've still got 800. Seems to be a slow section for me, say, because we've been away. So if I class one of these as a week, we've still got eight and a bit weeks worth to do to get to the end. So we're not looking at a July finish, I don't think, especially considering the rest of May and the beginning of June is, I already know I'm not going to get to it. I may get to it the week when it's just me and Megan. We tend to do a lot more planning in the afternoon / evening, so I might still get some done then. But yeah, it's got, if we say 8 weeks is what, 2 months? So a month for June, a month for July. July, August might be where we're at instead now. But that's the way life goes, isn't it? Anyway, that is me done for now. There are still some comments on the Heaven and Earth design WIP and waffles. So what I'll be doing is, because me and hubby are away, I'll actually be filming the beginning of June waffle just a smidge early, only by a couple of days, only the first 2 days of it. So I'm going to go through comments from WIP and waffles and Heaven and Earth design, and I will just keep going through them and then go through June waffles. So if your questions haven't been answered yet, tune in to the June waffle. Also tune into the June waffle anyway, because I am throwing in giveaways throughout the June waffle, but they will only be lasting 24 hours. So there'll be quite a few, so if you do miss some, there will be others. But yeah, I'm only opening them for 24 hours because then it frees me up to do another one. So stay tuned for how to do those. I hope you've all got your June waffle kits and stuff prepared, but that's another section done. Anyway, getting closer to finishing the blossom, getting some blue sky, which is gorgeous. Somebody did ask as well where my mum was up to. 75% she's on. She's very... This was when I spoke to her last week, so she may well have caught up with me, considering I've not done as much this last week. So yes, my mum was at 75% last week, so she may yet finish before me. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.